Hi everyone, my name is Ellie Taylor, and the character I chose to develop is Brooke Davis from One Tree Hill. One Tree Hill is a drama-filled television show about the lives of a friend group that all reside in Tree Hill, North Carolina. Anna Bush plays Brooke Davis in all 9 seasons of the show. In seasons 1 through 4, Brooke is a high school teenager, and then in seasons 5 through 9, Brooke is now a successful owner and head designer of Clothes Over Bros, a company she designed. In season 4 of the show, the group of friends graduated high school and went separate ways. Therefore, there is a time jump between the seasons. In seasons 1 through 4, Brooke is 16 to 18 years old in high school. Overall, she's pretty healthy. She's not obese or has any eating disorders. She was captain of the cheer squad and a very active cheerleader in her high school. There is some partying in this show, so she does drink alcohol. And then seasons 5 through 9, since there's a time jump, Brooke is now 25 to 29 years old. She has full fine motor skills and no longer has any growth spurts. She's still, again, very healthy, no obesity or eating disorders. At the beginning of the show, in seasons 1 through 4, Brooke is in high school. She has a lot of cognitive development throughout the episodes. So first we're going to go over constructivism and the families of theories and philosophy of education. So the main idea of constructivism is that people construct knowledge socially and internally. There's not any given knowledge. Therefore, Brooke has to grapple with information, and then her constructivism can be wrong. Students do this all the time, and since Brooke is a student in high school, she does this perfectly. Teachers teach children one way, and the way that the student may remember is completely different than the way that was taught. Therefore, students need to get their hands on things so they can debate and discuss and figure out what's best for them. Brooke struggled in school with math, so she struggled cognitively compared to the other students, yet she was still very successful. Created the social cultural theory. This means that knowledge is passed and constructed socially, using culture tools and interactions. So this is how Brooke developed cognitively because she was so good with her words. She interacted with people on an everyday basis. Her parents weren't really in her life at all during high school. Her parents gave her a credit card, and that's how they proved their love to her. So she never had anyone looking over her or looking out or wanting her to succeed. Brooke went through high school talking to boys and letting them define her because she knew no better. Learn from our past experiences, and this affects the filter of knowledge that it's passed through. So, since Brooke had no active parents in her life, they just gave her a credit card and let her live in the house alone, and they went off and did their own thing. She had no one to look up to or know in her life. Therefore, she just went through high school partying. We'll go over behaviorism. Throughout the seasons of One Tree Hill, Brooke's behavior changes tremendously. So, people behave in certain ways, and then we can modify those behaviors. We cannot grow if we don't observe any growth. This means that people can change their behaviors, and we can observe those changes. So, for example, all throughout high school, Brooke was known as the party girl that didn't care about school, that didn't try in her classes. She always struggled, because she had no role model in her life or no one to look after her. Then, after Brooke graduated high school and realized she didn't want to be that party girl anymore, she became a very successful businesswoman. She observed other people in the real world that were successful, so then she learned those behaviors and became her own successful businesswoman. She became such a successful businesswoman with her company Clothes Over Bros because she modified her own conscious behaviors through punishments and rewards. She saw that her sketches were so good that she could make money off of it, and she ran with the idea. She started off with sketching and then created her own company line. Her reward was money. She wanted to be as successful as possible, so therefore she changed her own behaviors of the party girl and became the hardworking businesswoman. We'll discuss Brooke's social development. Before we do that, though, here's some pictures of Brooke throughout the show in high school. And now social development. Social development is based on nesting. You're nesting inside many layers of other things affecting you. Basically, your DNA/personality. And then, on top of that, we have Bronfenner's bioecological model. And here we will explain and go through examples of Brooke's microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, and chronosystem. Parents never truly loved her. They just gave her a credit card and said, here, go buy whatever you want. This is how we'll show that we care about you, but they aren't actively participating in her daily life. So therefore, she basically just hung out with her friends all day, and they were her support system. This is an example of her microsystem that she has direct interaction with every single day, is her friends. As pictured in this picture, Lucas, Peyton, Haley, and Nathan were her support system. Then the mesosystem are interactions among the microsystem elements. Therefore, she interacted with her friends, her family, and her teachers and school activities every single day. Her cheerleading, her teachers, even though she struggled in school, her teachers were still a big part of her life because they were the only adults around. Then, of course, her friends. Brooke's exosystem is social settings that affect a child, but not directly affect them. So therefore, since she always lived alone and her parents were never around, they just gave her her credit card, this was an exosystem. Her social setting was with friends. However, she was never with her parents or guardian or anyone at the time. Therefore, she always just lived alone in a big house. And finally, we have our chronosystem. Chronosystems are time periods of one's development. If Brooke didn't develop and go through all these stages throughout high school, then her future could have ended completely different. All of these stages and all of Brooke's struggles she went through high school made her such a successful businesswoman. Next, we will go over Brooke's psychosocial development. Psychosocial is a relation to the individual's emotional needs to the social environment. Eric Eckerson created 8 different stages of this psychosocial development. The first stage is trust versus mistrust. Trust. This normally happens from the ages of birth to 12 or 18 months old. This really affected Brooke because her mom never truly loved her, and she just basically was like, here's money to show that I care even though I don't. You cannot buy your child's happiness and love through money, and that's what Brooke's mom tried to do. Therefore, at a very young age, Brooke learned to not trust anybody because her mom was never truly there. Stage is intimacy versus isolation, and this happens through young adulthood. Since Brooke's parents were never truly in the picture and never truly showed their love for her, Brooke always craved love and relationships and to develop intimacy. However, she struggled with this immensely, and she suffered feelings of isolation. So this is another stage. And then the third stage that Brooke overcame was generativity versus stagnation. And this happens through middle adulthood, ages 40 through 65. However, this happened much earlier for Brooke. Since Brooke became such a successful businesswoman at such a young age, in her middle to late 20s, Brooke craved that love and affection, but she couldn't find a man to do it, so Brooke ended up adopting a child. And this is what parenting and mentoring is. It satisfies and supports the next generation. Therefore, Brooke adopted a kid so she could give the love that she never received to someone else that needed it in their life. We'll talk about Brooke's moral development. Kohlberg's moral development also has 3 stages: pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. Pre-conventional stages happen in infants and toddlers. They make decisions based on what they get out of it. Therefore, Brooke always made decisions based on how much she could get away with. Since her parents were never truly in the picture and there in her daily life, they just always handed her a credit card and said, here you go, Brooke got away with a lot more than most children that had 1 or 2 stable parents in their life could get away with. This conventional stage happens from the ages of 7 to 15, and it's about to be good, to please others. Brooke always just pleased herself and did not care about others until she became a successful businesswoman. Then Brooke started to care and please others. She maintained the social system as well. And finally, the third stage is post-conventional. This is after the age of 15. You put others before yourselves and you care about social justice. Therefore, you did what was best for others, including yourself, but not just always about yourself. Watch this picture because it really describes how Brooke came full circle throughout all 9 seasons of One Tree Hill. And the picture says, I stopped letting boys define me and I started believing in myself and in my potential. Somewhere along the way, the lost little party girl became the girl on the wall of honor. In high school, all Brooke did was party and didn't care about what other people thought or did. And then she became a very successful woman who started putting herself first. Now we will talk about motivation. There's also 3 theories for motivation. The incentive theory, which is intrinsic motivation. Therefore, this means that Brooke is motivated by money, which is 100% true. Ever since Brooke's designs started taking off, she realized that she could make money from them. And since then, she hasn't stopped. She worked her way up in the system to create her own company, Clothes Over Bros, as pictured here, and became basically a billionaire through money. She also was motivated by the 16 Basic Desires by Stephen Rios. Everyone at some point in some way is motivated by each of these 16 desires. For Brooke, she was mostly motivated by power, romance, independence, and family. Brooke has always been independent since her parents just left her the key to the house and her credit card. Therefore, she's always taken care of herself. However, since her parents did just leave her the credit card and house, she has always craved family and romance. She wanted someone to care for her, and she wanted to love someone back. Therefore, she was driven by this. And the third theory is self-determination theory. Self-determination theory is competence, autonomy, and relatedness. Competence is the experienced mastery. Almost everyone is driven by competence at some point, and this was true for Brooke. She was driven that she wanted to master the art of her company, which she did. She became a billion-dollar company, so she mastered that. Second, autonomy is casual agent of your own destiny, responsible for your own success or failure. Brooke worked her butt off so she could become as successful as she was. And third, relatedness is to be connected to other people in some way. Brooke has always craved love and affection. Therefore, she was also motivated by this. Finally, we have the learning needs if I was Brooke's teacher. In high school, we noticed that Brooke struggled with math, and she didn't really try in school because she had no one around to care if she succeeded or not. If I was her teacher, I would pick up on these things that Brooke basically lived alone, just hung out with her friends, so she really needed a role model and a little direction in her life. I would take Brooke under my wing and relate school to her interests like cheerleading or design and fashion. She is a true born leader, so I would take that into consideration, and I'd ask her to present in my class and maybe be the line leader for a day, or ask her to do jobs and tasks around the classroom to keep her on task. If she puts her mind to anything, she's pretty intelligent. So I think as a teacher, teachers needed to focus in on her a little more and help her out. Since she struggled with math, I would just get a tutor for her, or ask if she wanted to, a couple days a week, stay in for lunch and we could work on her math skills. But overall, Brooke was changed from her high school personality self to her young adulthood self, and became a successful businesswoman and proved everyone wrong in high school.